Well, it's time to talk security. President Bola Tinubu has approved a major shake-up in the hierarchy of Nigeria's military leadership with the appointment of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as the Chief of Defense Staff, a move aimed at strengthening the nation's security architecture. Sifon Essien has details.
In a decisive reorganization of the Armed Forces top command, President Bola Tinubu appointed Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as the new Chief of Defense Staff, replacing General Christopher Musa.
To articulate valuable and forward-thinking policies.
The President also named Major General Waidi Shaibu as the new Chief of Army Staff, Air Vice Marshal Sunday Aneke as Chief of Air Staff, and Rear Admiral Idi Abbas as Chief of Naval Staff. However, in a mark of continuity and confidence, Major General Emmanuel Odiandeye retains his position as the Chief of Defense Intelligence. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, the President expressed deep appreciation to the outgoing Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and other former service chiefs for their patriotic service and dedicated leadership. President Tinubu charged the newly appointed service chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them by enhancing professionalism, vigilance, and comradeship within the armed forces of Nigeria. All appointments, according to the statement, take immediate effect, with Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede now at the helm as Chief of Defense Staff and Major General Odiandeye continuing in intelligence leadership. The nation's defense structure enters a new phase, one the President hopes will bring renewed strength and cohesion to Nigeria's security operations. Sifon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.
Well, we're talking with a security expert on this matter, and we have him join us from our Abuja studio. He's the Executive Director, Patriots for Advancement of Peace and Social Development, Dr. Sani Shinkafi. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me in the program.
This is a major change in the security operations of the country. Do you see this coming, or is a decision from the president that is timely, 28 months after the appointment?
Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, Section 218, subsection 1 and 2, grant Mr. President, who is the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, to appoint service chiefs. And by the virtue of the provision of the Constitution, Mr. President acted within the letters of Nigerian Constitution, and also in line with the tradition of the armed forces of the Republic of Nigeria. It was stipulated that service chiefs have tenure of 2 years, and it is the discretionary powers of Mr. President to extend the tenure of the service chiefs. So the previous administration of President Muhammadu Buhari have violated or breached the tradition of the appointment of the service chiefs, which he granted extension to other service chief Burute and other service chiefs, which has stagnated the promotion and elevation of some military officers. So if you look at the appointment, the new Chief of Defense Staff, he is cost 39. The Chief of Army Staff is cost 41. The Chief of Naval Staff is cost 40, and Chief of Air Staff is cost 40. So with this appointment of the new service chiefs, it is a way forward. It is also commendable and remarkable, because it will give way for other military officer to be elevated to the next rank or to the next offices. And with the present security situation, Mr. President has acted within the needful time. Looking at what is happening in Nigeria, there are serious security challenges across the six geopolitical zone. If you take Northwest, Northwest has been dealing with the issue of armed banditry, kidnapping for ransom, extortion, imposition of levies, cattle rustling,
Dr. Shinkafi,
farmers clashes.
We'll get to that other development on the program this morning, but the military hierarchy has denied an alleged coup by some officers in the army. Now, could this be the reason for this shakeup?
Yeah, you see, there's a allegation of a coup which have failed woefully. And looking at that, there is a negligence of duty and lack of proper supervision and monitoring. If there is a proper supervision and monitoring, I think the junior officers who were alleged to plan a coup against the democratically elected government, I think does not arouse. So there is a negligence of duty, lack of supervision and lack of monitoring on the part of the first immediate service chiefs. So with this, I think it will give Mr. President and the other military officers to check good and bad and ugly military officers who are not stand to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria.
Are you indicting the former service chiefs? Is that what you're saying? In the alleged?
What I'm saying, you know, we have just had the allegation of this coup on online media. That is, Sahara Reporter is the first online media, news online media, to report the alleged coup plots. So if it is true, because some names of the officers were published, which I'm not sure of, but if it is true, so it means that those who were the former occupant of the office are not doing proper monitoring, supervision, and observation of these officers. Because there should be a check and balances on their daily routine or their daily duties. In all the barracks, all the military formation, there should be a proper close monitoring and observation of this officer to checkmate the excesses of bad eggs.
All right. The president has charged the new service chiefs on professionalism, vigilance, and unity. What do you think their marching order should be? What do you think that they should prioritize in their first days in office?
The new service chiefs?
Yes.
Yeah, the new service chief, having been charged with the responsibility of being the custodian of the national security of the country, the main expectation of all Nigerians and Mr. President, that the service chiefs should uphold the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Nigeria as a nation in terms of security, in terms of the airways, airspace, sea, land border, and to make sure that they stand to fight internal and external enemies as charged in the Armed Forces Act. So, going by their profile, the new service chiefs, they have a very rich CB. I have gone through their profile. They have a very rich CB in terms of professionalism, in terms of educational qualification, in terms of training and experience. I think with this team, with what is happening in the other segment of the country. Armed banditry, kidnapping for ransom, oil theft, agitation for self-determination in the southeast, south militancy, a lot of and the ISWAP and Boko Haram insurgencies. So they are charged with their rich CB. I think we are good to go. Mr. President has a very good team, but there are something to do. There is need for Mr. President to reshuffle his cabinet and get a proper people who can be charged the administrative support for the armed forces in the Ministry of Defense.
Absolutely.
Because the Ministry of Defense are being created to give administrative support in the formulation of policies and other national security issues.
Okay.
But what is happening now?
I want us to talk
what
about
is happening now.
Okay.
In the Ministry of Defense, the Minister of State for Defense have turned all his office to be his gubernatorial campaign office.
That is an indictment. He's not yet to give a right of reply, but I want us to stay on this subject matter, talking about the shake-up we've seen in the service chief that's in Nigeria. So, aside from giving kudos to what the president has done, what do you make of the current welfare of security personnel in Nigeria, doing a comparison with other African countries?
You see, the issue of the marching order, Mr. President has been giving marching order, previous president have been giving marching order, but what I am saying, the new service chiefs should not take this marching order as a motivational statement or inspirational statement or ceremonial statement. They should act based on the order given to them by Mr. President, who is the commander-in-chief of armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As I have said earlier, Section 218 have given excellent powers to Mr. President.
Yeah, we got you clearly. What you said earlier, Dr. Shinkafi. I want you to speak to the matter of the welfare of security personnel in the country compared to other African or developed countries.
Can you come back again, please?
I want you to speak on the welfare of security operatives in Nigeria. What do you make of this? Their welfare.
Please, am I hearing you well?
He's asking for that you speak about the welfare of security personnel in Nigeria, police and army, for example, because we've heard reports that they are not doing so great. They're not giving a lot of weapons, and their barracks sometimes are really, really dirty. So we've heard those reports over some time.
You see the issue of the security personnel. Even looking at the size of the budget, the national budget, many funds have been appropriated on national security and defense. And this money are appropriated to these armed forces and other security agencies. That is police, DSS, and other security agencies. So looking at it, the performance of the security and the money appropriated in the national budget have mismatched with their performance. There is need for innovation of advanced technology in the fight against this crime and criminality in Nigeria. The issue of the tradition of using guns has come to is a primitive way of fighting in this modern society now. So there is need for surveillance attacking drones and other sophisticated jet fighters. So if you look at the terrain in the northwest, this issue of armed banditry have been in place for over 13 years now, over more than one decade now. There should be a deployment of total technological support to complement the conventional security. And looking at what is happening also in the northeast, Look at the Sambisa forest. Some of these roads are inaccessible. You need to deploy technology in the fight against this terrorism, using surveillance drone, using environmental remote sensing GPS, and other technological support to complement the effort of the security personnel. It is very unfortunate how this military formation have been attacked in northeast in Borno, particularly in Maiduguri. Even in Zamfara State, just of recent, mobile police and other community protection guard were ambushed by this criminal armed bandit. So there is need for most of this security are under-equipped, under-staffed, and under-motivated. There is need for the new service chief to do everything humanly possible to bring to improve the incentives and welfare of the personnel.
Dr. Shinkafi, let me quickly get your reaction on the statement made by the governor of Nasarawa State working on intelligence. He said that there's a new terrorist group, Wulu Wulu, which is a splinter group of Boko Haram, beginning to resurface in the north-central zone of the country. Now, with the new service chiefs, do you see them nipping in bud this particular set called Wulu Wulu in the north-central zone of Nigeria?
Yeah, the most important thing for the new service chief is to see how they can build a synergy with the sister security agencies. Because the major problem, sometimes they are facing in this fight against this insecurity. Once the action agencies give an intelligence report, when the secret police like DSS give an intelligence report to the action agencies, the action agency, that's the military, will not act within the required time, within the shortest period of time. And that will also draw back the fight against this crime and criminality in Nigeria. And just recently, an action agency and DSS gave a report to the brigade commander in Ikiti and Ondo that there is a possible attack of ISWAP and Boko Haram in Kogi State and part of, I think, that Ondo Ekiti State. I think it's part of Ondo State or Ekiti State. If they have not acted within the shortest period of time, or if they have not acted quickly, anything can happen. So these are some of the problems. There should be a synergy, symbiotic relationship between the military, between the armed forces and the other sister agencies, like police. So the problem now, there is proliferation of smaller and lighter arms into the country, porosity of the border. They have a lot of enormous tasks to handle. They have a lot of enormous tasks to handle because of the security challenges we are having across the country.
All right, Dr. Shinkafi, is the change of the service chiefs a solution to some of the security challenges that we are seeing in the country?
What?
I'm asking if the changing of the security chiefs is a solution to the security challenges that you are seeing in the country at the moment. Do we hope to see some change, some improvement in our security apparatus?
Yeah, you see, each and every military personnel has his own intellectual capacity. He has his own intellectual capacity. He has his own experience on how to go about to combat this crime and criminality. The removal of the service chiefs, it is not that Mr. President sacked them, but their tenure as enshrined in the Armed Forces Act have even exceeded 2 years. So I think what the Mr. President did now for bringing this new team on board, there is a high expectation from them. I would expect them to do more than their predecessors. And in this world, it's a stage. It's like a dancing stage. When you play your own part, you allow another person to dance his own music. So I think they have done, the other predecessors have done their own part, and we expect, as I have said earlier,
Okay, I love the fact, Dr. Shinkafi, I love the fact that you're optimistic that the new service chiefs will deliver in the country anytime soon, and we hope to see such changes, especially in all geopolitical zones of Nigeria. But the opposition party, the ADC, has called on President Bola Tinubu to tell Nigerians the real reason behind the sudden removal of the country's service chiefs. Now, do you see the statements as political or mischievous?
No, that I cannot say it is mischievous, but it is politically motivated. It has political undertone. As I have said, in the Armed Forces Act, it was clearly spelled out that the tenure of the service chiefs should not exceed 2 years period. But Mr. President can use his discretionary power to extend the tenure of the service chief. So if you are conversant with the rules of the game or the rules of the armed forces, I think Mr. President has acted within the confines of the law, within the powers also granted to him by 1999 Constitution as amended Section 218 and subsection 1 and 2. So there is no ambiguity in the Nigerian Constitution, the powers vested to Mr. President, and there is no also ambiguity on the Armed Forces Act that mandated Mr. President to appoint service chiefs for a period of 2 years. And these powers lies on Mr. President as the Commander-in-Chief Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it just their statement is a political statement. They're in the opposition party. You cannot take it away from them. And they are looking for due publicity and due recognition. They are just trying to come on board as a coalition political party. So everybody is entitled to his opinion, and Mr. President acted within the confines of the law and the power vested on him by Nigerian Constitution.
It's a fine place to leave it, and we hope to see that the new service chiefs will hit the ground running to ensure that the issue of insecurity is reduced drastically in the country. Executive Director, Patriot for Advancement of Peace and Social Development, Dr. Sani Shinkafi. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to meeting with you again.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, talking about the issue of service chiefs in the country, we hope to see them now hit the ground running and ensure things get better in Nigeria.
In the country and safer. No
Absolutely.
more one-chance.
No, absolutely, because the safety of lives and property is key.
Very, very important.
All right, we'll take a breather at the moment, and when we come back, we'll talk entertainment. You're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.